I would like to introduce Caroline Chong from Virtue Labs to kick off.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I lost track for a second. I was going to say I thought it was the morning, but we are deep into the afternoon. So thank you, everyone, for having me. Thank you, Lane. Thanks, Chad. I am the Global Vice President for Virtue Labs when it comes to sales and business development. So what you are all talking about here and listening to is extremely important for me in the business in order to make sure that I have a good pulse. Now, Virtue came to be about 10 years ago as a brand, but it was very much a D2C concentrated brand. We only launched big time or in a bigger way into brick and mortar last year at Ulta starting in June 2024. So we're coming up to almost 1 year. And so, as you know, when you're building a business from the bottom up, it's really important to be able to have detailed information and to be able to track. So I had worked with accelerated analytics in a previous life when I worked at Coty, a luxury division. And I found all the information so insightful and so easy in terms of making a one-stop shop for my data and everything that I needed, that I immediately did reach out to Chad and team to try to see what we could get going so that I had something similar at my fingertips within Virtue Labs. So Virtue is a premium luxury hair care brand that is very focused in luxury, but also built in science. So we come from regenerative medicine. I am the only, or Virtue is the only brand that can actually truly heal your hair. And the way that we can do that is with a proprietary protein called alpha keratin 60KU, which is the only keratin in the market that's identical to your hair, skin, and nails. So your body actually recognizes it as its own. Every other keratin in the market is either plant-based or animal-derived. So from wool or feathers, beaks, things that many people probably don't even realize are in their products. So we are cruelty-free, gluten-free, vegan, and free of all of the things that people don't want in their products, but very much rooted in science. So focused on wellness and proactive health.
Thank you, Caroline. I'd like to introduce Kendra Balhorn from Conair.
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Hold on.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
There you are too.
Okay. Hi. Thank you for having me today. Caroline just gave an amazing introduction to herself. That's going to be tough to follow. But my name is Kendra Bellhorn. I am the Midwest Sales Coordinator over at Conair. Conair Beauty, we opened in 1959, so we've been around for a very long time. Introduced the first pistol hair dryer back in 1959. I'm sure many of you are aware of our brand. I am actually a coordinator over the personal care appliance division, meaning blow dryers, hair accessories such as straighteners, flat irons, hot tools, things like that. We also have a couple other brands underneath Conair, such as Scunci, Fabulous Pro. So I personally am over the PCA division. However, I utilize accelerated analytics all the time. It's super beneficial to me and the company as a whole to gather insights, data, things of that nature for presenting purposes, line reviews, day-to-day things for ordering, looking at SKUs that are brand new, seeing how they're performing, things of that nature. So it's an amazing tool to be able to utilize. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Kendra. Next, I'm not sure if Paige has been able to make it yet. I know she was having some technical difficulties. Paige, are you on? If not, we will move over to introducing Sarah Stein.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stein. Lane and Chad, thank you so much for having me. Yes, I've worked with many beauty brands and done a lot of work with Ulta. Most recently, I was the interim CMO for a hair care brand, which really wanted to maximize their relationship with Ulta. They'd previously been exclusive elsewhere. And this data makes it possible to see the world the same way Ulta does. So you can be a true partner and you can really bring your team together and brainstorm and be that real partner to Ulta and really delight the consumer. So thanks again.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm now going to bring on all of our panel members back, so that way we can go in and kick off with the first question. So give me one moment to get everyone added. And Caroline, I have you, and Kendra, I have you as well, and I'll go ahead and put myself on, and we'll go ahead and kick off with the first question. So brands often tell us that the 3 key benefits of Ulta data analytics are inventory management, store level insights, and field sales team management. Which of these has your team found to be most beneficial and why? And why don't we go ahead and start with Caroline?
So for me, these are very interconnected and run hand in hand. So it's a little difficult to say which is most important, but obviously inventory management. If you don't have product in store, you don't have anything to sell, anything to convert. And then obviously you've limited yourself in terms of your future potential with Ulta and as the partnership. So we do not want to leave any sales on the table as a brand, but also Ulta does not want us to leave any sales on the table. So for me, we've really been utilizing, I know Lane, you were talking about your low inventory report. We've built our own, I love the cube. And through the cube, we actually go on a by store, by SKU level to see what's on hand and provide a by door report to our MPNI, which is the supply team, inventory management team within Ulta, as well as my merchant team. So we're providing that on a weekly basis to make sure we have the right build. And we're not missing out on anything because we know 100%. So for anyone that's on here that's thinking of doing business at Ulta, what they have in their system is not realistic in terms of what's actually happening in the store. Many times it's very mismatched. And until you get that right, then you're not actually getting the right flow of goods. So that's helping us get store level insights. And then that also helps me in terms of our field sales team to direct them in terms of what are the actions needed during that week or moving forward. And that can be very flexible.
Great, thank you, Caroline. Kendra?
Yeah, going off what Caroline said, I would agree with everything she says. I also am going to say the inventory management is what we use the most out of those 3. This really does help with aiding in what SKUs to use when we're looking at promotional activity for planning. You know, by doing that, we will have the best outcome and be more successful. When those promotions do hit the stores, we're able to see, like, do we have enough SKUs and inventory to, cover this event and whatnot moving forward with that.
And Sarah?
So I agree with what everyone has said, but I'll just lean in a little more to the field sales team management because I mean, again, it starts with inventory 100%. No product, it's not happening. But, you always have a plan for your field sales team of what they're going to do in store. Now you can really, it's definitely going to happen because you're not going to have any surprises. So that's what makes it, my favorite. Before you'd be like, this is the plan, and you're going in, and then you have an inventory surprise, and here it's like definitely actionable. So just agreeing, but then leaning into, I love the results that come from that.
Great, thank you. And then we'll move on to the next question. What did the data teach you that others could benefit from? And we'll go ahead and start with Kendra this time.
Sure. I would just say informed decision making, quicker, faster. Like, you're not just going off of what you think, it's literally right in front of you, helping you make those decisions and guiding strategic choices when it comes to all that. It also increases your chances of success when planning anything. So definitely just helping inform you to make better decisions.
Okay, and Sarah?
So my favorite is definitely a period sales report for promotional SKUs, just because you want your promotions to be narrow and deep. And by having that data, you can best program them. You have the right inventory at the right place, and no one wants to be thought of as a promotional brand. So whether you are focusing on new consumers or maybe you want to reward your loyal consumers, you can be really targeted and focused and have everything in the right place and a more successful promotional event. So it's pulsed and it's effective, and you're not perceived as a promotional brand.
Great. And then Caroline.
I think for me, part of it is that there's so many levels that at which you can look at the data that you can get to an extremely granular level, so much so that it would connect back to what Sarah was saying, which is it allows you to use more of a customized way to manage your field team and or your own sales efforts. So it's very clear in terms of what you need to focus on when it can give you the red flags and then immediately allow you to deep dive where needed. So you can look high level, deep dive, but you can also go all the way down to, like we were saying, SKU and store level to take action. So it's not just a so what, it's not just a high level report. It can actually help you with the so what, any actions needed.
Great. And then we'll move on to the third question. And Sarah, we'll start with you on this one. Are there any go-to tactic that has helped grow your relationship with Ulta?
Sure. So I love to bring my whole team together and get them to brainstorm on the best possible solution to be a great Ulta partner. And because accelerated analytics provides the exact same data the way Ulta's looking at it, it just drives those brainstorms and we have better solutions and incredible results. And just to give you an example, by using these tools, like whether it's the snapshot or just all of it, it's like getting the team going of what can you do by SKU, by door, and they're inspired because they know this is real. And I've had really successful 21 days of beauty because we looked at it the same way they were, and the team they were people that don't normally talk to each other. Paid social and advertising, usually they're not on the same page, but this brought everyone together for us to have incredible results.
Great, thank you. Caroline?
So for me, I think one of the key learnings coming out of Ulta is that they are very time starved. They are stretched thin and they might want to do certain things to drive your business, but unfortunately, it's just they don't have the time or the bandwidth. So what I found the with accelerated analytics is really that it gives you the opportunity to be well armed for any of the conversations needed, and you can help them do their work, whether it's helping them to report on sales, what's working, what's not working, giving them fact-based and really data-driven recommendations for promotion or solutions to help you drive the business, whether it's inventory or go forward, I would say pull tactics or strategies. I found that when you have the data, then they very much have the trust level between and the partnership can get much stronger because then you establish yourself as someone that's very data driven, fact based. They can rely on the data, and then therefore we're making their job easier. And then at the same time, helping yourself grow your business and growing the business with them.
That's great, thank you. And Kendra?
Well, I feel like they both said pretty much what I was going to say. I know that the buyers that I work with at Ulta are extremely data driven. They love that more than anything, which is great because this helps aid in that as well. So like they both just said, just really preparing, getting well prepared with the best equipped data through accelerated analytics is really helpful when coming to line review meetings and having weekly meetings to present them with the data, and all of us being on the same exact page with all of that to succeed and grow.
Excellent, thank you. Let's go to our next question. What advice would you provide to a new brand going into Ulta today? And we'll go ahead and start with Kendra.
This one, I would just say like really utilize, like, I feel like this is all kind of like the same things over and over, but really utilize the data that you are being given, making sure that you're preparing things for them to look at super easy to digest, coming with everything right away at their discretion for them, but also just being super transparent with them, building that trust. And this is a great way to do that.
Great. And Sarah?
So I agree with building the trust and having the data driven piece of it, of course. And I also want to echo what Caroline said, which is Ulta's time starved. And so if you can just prepare things as ready to go, that they don't, they would love they want to be a strong partner to you, and if you make it easy for them and you can show this is why it's a great partner, why it's a great opportunity, how it's going to drive sales, how it's going to grow everyone's business, they're going to be very supportive, and just having that data to tell your story makes it really easy. So recognizing they're time starved is key, and studying the data and just giving it to them so they're ready to go and they're like, yes, I would love to partner with you, thank you. So they're looking for those great opportunities.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. And then Caroline.
For me, I think the key piece, especially if you're just going into Ulta, is making sure that you establish yourself in the way that you want to from the very beginning, because it's very difficult to go back and redo what's already been established. So when I say this, I mean really working with Ulta and challenging them in a good way in terms of what are the reasonable joint business plans, what is the stretch target, and then ultimately, what does that mean for your presence in store? What is the minimum number of units that you're going to have per store? Because that's really going to allow you to drive the right level of conversion and sales. Once you're stuck at one certain inventory level, it's very difficult to get anywhere beyond that. And now with challenges potentially on open to buy across the beauty markets, and we know that it's been a little difficult for all, it just becomes even more difficult for you to get to where you need. So please use the data to get the maximum out of the gates, or it just turns into a chicken and egg exercise.
Excellent. No, that's great feedback. And we'll go to the next question. And Sarah, we'll start with you. When you think about playing to win at Ulta, what promotions or activations are most effective?
Well, I think knowing the Ulta consumer that's right for your brand, I think, well, I love the 21 days of beauty. I should say, like, having, like, it's 21 days of beauty, but having the right product and the right assortment for those times, and just making it a full 360 campaign. And, having the right data makes it possible. So you can do that full 360 campaign. It's like the right product in the store, because you don't want to have this amazing opportunity and then find out that you actually have no inventory in the store, which we've all seen that happen. So here, you've got the right inventory at the right time, and all the pieces go together, and you can really excel.
Excellent. Caroline?
I also love 21 Days of Beauty. I do not love to go 50% off on any products. However, it does provide the biggest new to brand. So from an awareness perspective and having new trial and penetration, it's great. But to Sarah's point, if I put back on my marketing hat, which I used to do in the past, then it's really about also making sure you have the stacked marketing calendar or activation. You need to be able to drive traffic also to Ulta and have reasons. So even if you're not doing 21 Days of Beauty, always make sure you're driving traffic and then have a reason for them to convert once they get to your site. I found that definitely works quite nicely.
Excellent. And then Kendra.
Sure. So I would say like promotions such as 5 times the points event, and we do spring haul and fall haul. Those are really effective for us. In a report that we utilize a lot in determining which SKUs to put on promotion for those events is actually the SKU sales flexible periods report. I use that report all the time. It's good just to be able to pull in, looking at like last year, okay, the spring haul was from this time to this time, and then we pull in what it would be this year, comparing what SKUs we pulled in and seeing how many units we sold, seeing the dollar amount that we sold, to make sure that we're, putting out the best SKUs that were going to bring us the best outcome for the event. So I just want to go ahead and just say that report is amazing, and that's probably my most used report.
Great. Thank you. So I do want to go to the Q&A. However, I have one more kind of bonus question, if you will, that I'd love to ask, and then we'll pass it out to additional questions coming from the attendees. So my question is, Accelerated has an opportunity to suggest improvements and enhancements to Ulta through our partnership. If you had a magic wand, what additional data would you love if Ulta shared it? And we'll go ahead and start with Caroline.
market data. They share nothing. Obviously, you don't, just from a competition, I know it's hard for them to do that, but if they could share category growth, that would be phenomenal. On a very, I would say on a regular basis, but I know obviously there's different implications and reasons why they don't, but if it's not just on a relationship basis, it'd be nice if it was in a report so we could at least compare and see where we're over or under indexing.
Excellent. And then Kendra, the same question. If you want, I can repeat it. Since it's not up on, do you want me to repeat it for you?
No, you don't need to repeat it. I will say, I think like the amount of data and reporting that you do get in here is incredible. Like, it's great. I'm kind of going to say it's similar as Caroline, which it'd be super hard to get, but just insights on other, brands or seeing how we're doing compared to them in certain areas, that would be great. I know that's hard to do, but that would be helpful.
Okay, and then Sarah, happy to repeat the question if you need me to.
No. I've got the question. I love everyone else's answers, but since I'm like right there with you, I'm like, yes, category data, like agreeing so wholeheartedly. And if we want to add on just with maybe consumers, often I find that the Ulta consumer might be how it's what they're gravitating toward for my brand might be different than elsewhere. And that can be that, I've found it out through really qualitative data and then found it to be really true. So any consumer data I think would be really, really helpful, bundling with the category. Category, I have to say, I agree is first, but any consumer data just helping, we just want to be a better partner.
Excellent. No, thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it to Daniel Hutchinson, one of our account executives, who's going to facilitate the Q&A.
Thank you, Lane.
Yep.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for joining and again to our panel. So one of the questions that's come in, and please feel free to answer it, Will, I'm not sure who wants to take this one. Would you say this has benefited your brand from more from a sales perspective or more from an inventory perspective?
And we'll just open it up to anyone.
Sorry, Daniel, I didn't hear you. Can you please repeat the question?
Of course. Would you say Accelerators has benefited your brand more from a sales perspective or more from an inventory perspective?
If I may just jump in, I was going to say, I think it depends on the stage of like where your brand is within Ulta. Right now, for me, it's been inventory management, but it's because we're just getting started and getting established. Once you're more of an established brand, sellout is definitely sellout is king. If you're not selling out, you're not going to get the purchases or shipments that you need either. So I think it kind of just depends on where you are.
Gotcha. Thank you. We have another one. Thank you, ladies. We are a small to mid-sized hair brand for Ulta. So my question is, can having AA-driven data still get action from your buyer if your brand isn't big enough to throw their weight around? As you said, there are times starved, so time spent against me versus your brands doesn't give them anywhere near the same ROI. In other words, I trust the data, but I'm skeptical it will get my buyer to actually take action, since improvements in my brand doesn't significantly move the needle for them relative to larger brands. Not sure who'd like to take that one, but thank you. That's a wonderful question.
I'll dive in on that one. So having the data will help you become a larger brand. So because you have the data, you understand, you know what inventories, what's in the store. So maybe you choose to do something at a very specific location and you show that you have, like Ulta should be excited more. They're already excited about you because you're there. So just shows that you can really get the flywheel going, so that if you're a smaller brand, show that you've got the path to purchase defined. And this is what you did at one door. So if they were to give you an opportunity to do it in multiple doors, it would be multiplied.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, we appreciate the questions and the answers. And I think that may be it for the Q&A as well. So I'll hand back over to Lane. Thanks again, ladies.
Actually, Chad, let me see if Chad is on. I think you may have wanted to say a few words.
Yes, I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm gonna flip you on. I apologize for that. And again, thank you to everyone on the panel. Very much appreciated having you.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I guess, wrap up with a few comments. I really appreciate the panel and your insights. It's so valuable to be able to hear from real life practitioners, right? We, as a analytics company, have an opportunity to facilitate these conversations. We're down in the weeds in the data all day long, every day, but your perspective as the users and the practitioners is so valuable. So I just, again, want to thank you for investing your time into this session and providing the education for everybody on the call. One of Accelerated's missions, in addition to providing the tools to win at retail, really is to expand the knowledge base of the beauty industry writ large, right? So we intend to continue to provide these types of educational opportunities moving forward. That's going to look like additional webinars on additional topics for not only Ulta, but additional retailers like Sephora and Macy's and Nordstrom and other key partners. We'll also be launching in the coming weeks a regular newsletter, which is going to provide practical guidance and tools that you'll be able to take right out of an email and apply to your business. So please keep an eye out for that. We'll be looking for your feedback. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Lane.
Thank you, Chad. And again, just wanted to thank everyone again for attending. Thank you to our panel. Thank you for our attendees. We hope that you've gained some new insights to help you unlock better performance at Ulta. Feel free, we will be reaching out to you over the course of the next week. We'll be sharing the recording of this in the event that you want to share it with some of your colleagues or friends. Also, if you want to reach out to us sooner than that, feel free to go to www.acceleratedanalytics.com. We have a way for you to set up a demo, and we're happy to set up a call with you. Otherwise, again, thank you so much for your time today and your participation, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks so
everybody.
much.
Have a nice day.
Have a great day.